Did Kendra G just encourage women to not date strictly for money and status? Did she also just encourage them in this video we're about to check out to stop caring so much about height? And finally, I don't know if I can actually handle the last one. Did she encourage him to drink coffee? No, literally, she actually tells him to go on coffee dates. Unbelievable. Keep watching. This is going to get interesting, but the most interesting video is the one I'm going to play after this.
A lot of women, they come on my show, they describe the same guy. They want him to have money, have swag, be attractive, and all of that. Now, I might have 10 of those guys, then I have 3,000 women. So just from that type of guy, there's just not enough to go with every person. Also, the things everybody's saying they want our grandma's love, like she just said, y'all don't know what grandma went through to keep that love. I would be happy by myself, taking care of myself before I tolerate your BS. So I say all that to say, if you really want to be a wife, character is all that matters. Not money, not...
Wow. I know some of you are saying, Chisha, don't you start with the pausing it. We just got to take it in. We've got to take in the full about face without acknowledgement, of course, that she's been wrong in the past. She says character is one of the only thing, the main thing that matters in a marriage relationship. Really? Wow.
Say, if you really want to be a wife, character is all that matters. Not money, not height. Is this man going to be there for you on your dying bed? If you couldn't walk tomorrow, would he wipe your behind? Those are the only components, and that's how women will run the game again. Because we put out there, you got to be attractive, because you got to have money, those men are acting up, and they acting like a damn fool because they know they got so many women that want them. Just date. Like, you know, people are like, Kendra, I need a man, and the Uber driver dropped him off. Well, was the Uber driver nice? Just go for coffee, girlfriend. It's just coffee. Like, you never know, because that Uber driver might...
First off, it's not just coffee.
Drink the coffee, it'll make you feel better.
It's not just coffee. Stop downplaying the coffee. It's not just coffee, please. But let's keep listening.
Be an Uber driver, but maybe saving to make his own fleet, and maybe you're the sauce that can help him market it. A lot of marriages really are partnerships. Like, we just think the man's the head of the house, but maybe it was the woman's idea, he executed. And a lot of women who are powerhouse, I know she said you don't might want to build a man, and I get that, but you might also have no man to build. Either you can have a no man or invisible man or yourself. Like, you got to pick out of it. It's just the real talk.
Wow, it's just the real talk. That's it. That's the short video right there. And I want to say that I'm shocked, but let's be honest, man. We all kind of saw her shifting towards basically drinking coffee. It was force-fed. How many videos, how many interviews can you have? You can't speak to modern women consistently on a daily basis. If you notice, everybody, doesn't matter their gender, who's gone through that. In the end, they end up coming to the same conclusion. You chicks are delusional. You can't all have this guy that you're all saying you want. You understand that, right? You do understand that, right? Like, you get that, right? And every person who goes through this is always coming out on the other end, a coffee addict. But here's where things are going to get fun, right? We're going to have some fun here on this episode. We're going to check out Kendra. This is young Kendra, right? 41-year-old Kendra. We got to, you know, there has to be a different age grading for modern women, because when it comes to dating years, you know, they mature a lot less. So we'll say she's about, 5 years old in dating years in this video, right? But she's 41 in this video, I believe, if I'm not mistaken here. But they have a conversation, and you literally hear the difference between her here at 41 and her now, still in the same position, still single. She had a relationship, didn't work out, still hasn't been able to lock down a man. And this. All right, so we're not going to waste any time. We're going to get straight into it. This video is titled, Kevin Samuels has Kendra G jumping for answers. Net of it. Godfather strikes again. This is the first video that popped up. I'm sure it's on Kevin Samuels' main channel as well. So in this video, Kevin Samuels asks Kendra G, hey, would you respect a guy who's earning $40,000? I mean, in this other video over here, she's saying, guys, it's not about the money. Don't do what I did. It's not about the money. Please get yourself a man before you end up like me. And over here, you have her. I think this is 2 years ago. I actually think it's more than that. But anyways, he asks her, "Would you be able to respect a man who earns an average income? Because that high value dude, he might put you through some stuff." Let's keep listening.
Because I hear women come on and say, you know what, that high value thing, I really don't want that because I don't want to have to share him. All right, but then are you going to be able to look at a man making $45,000 a year and respect him to the same level that a high value man would be respected?
I would respect a man who's hardworking, and as long as he doesn't try to minimize me in any way. Now that's the biggest thing. If he's okay with me being my full self.
You didn't answer whether or not you respect him to the same level you respect the high value man.
Thank you.
Well, let me tell you this. I'm going to say yes, only because I'm going to tell you this. I've dated high value men. I've dated the men with the Rolls Royces and all the cars and all the glitz and glamour. And they always thought because they had the cars and the glitz and glamour that you got to bow down to them. And
I get it, but I'm talking about the man who's working at the post office.
I would say, now I'm going to tell you my requirements. I want you to be attractive. So if you're a guy that's working at the post office and you're attractive and you...
Hold on, let me time out. Why do you want to be attractive?
I can't have nothing.
No, let me explain. See, this is what's so wrong for so many of our women. You're supposed to be the attractive one, not us. Okay. Black women today have atavistic mating standards, very primitive, meaning I want you to look good. So he can make $40,000 a year as long as he look good.
I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that he can make $40,000 a year. I'm not.
That's what most black men make, $42,500.
Okay.
She's like, oh shit, really? If you ask the average chick today, you ask her, how much should your boyfriend be making, right? 20 years old. Like $200,000. That's just out of touch with understanding of earning potential, so on and so forth. Let's keep listening.
Okay, so Kevin, so are you saying in your perspective that it's over for me? Then I don't have.
No, it's not. No, what I'm saying is your price is too high.
How is my price too high?
Okay. Well, first of all, you asked me, and I'm going to. You're 41 and unmarried.
Right.
You're freezing
choice. By choice.
Yeah, that's no.
Well, no, I can say that. I was once engaged when I was in college. Okay.
No.
I just got
See, this is what I mean. The engagement.
Man, I miss Kevin Samuels.
Engagement queens, you can't make this shit up.
No, I'm not. Listen, wait, Kevin.
Don't overtalk me. No.
Time out.
I said if we could start giving black women credit for engagements, you act like that shit matters. I'm not married, but I'm not by choice. Unless you're turning away proposals of men of value and esteem, it doesn't matter. Y'all talk about y'all are unmarried when ain't nobody that you want to marry trying to marry you.
Kevin, can I speak to that?
No, because I haven't got to my point. Because I haven't got to my point. You asked me why is it over for me? That's what you asked.
But I want just to say one thing. Okay?
Let me get to my point, dude. Let me get,
okay.
I didn't even. This is why it's over for a lot of sisters too. Look, you can be right all you want to. Men control access to marriage. And one of the major reasons that older women are getting passed over for younger women is you're too masculine. You're too bossy. You're too opinionated. That works well in the corporate world when you're making other people successful and rich and fine, but it does not work well when you're trying to connect with a man.
Right.
Why is it over for many women your age? One, because your income has risen. And females have evolved. Evolutionary biology says women want men to have at least what they have.
Right.
The older you get, the more money you make, the more education you have, the more resources you get, thereby inflating your estimation of yourself. But that estimation is not your sexual marketplace value. It is going down.
Can I respond? I want to be respectful because it's your
platform. Go ahead, but do you understand that example I just gave? The inverse proportional relationship.
Mind you that Kendra G, following this conversation, went to her platform after that and insulted Kevin Samuels and just tried to tear him down. And when I listen to this conversation, I'm like, yo, this was a fairly respectful conversation. I'm talking about from a completely respectful from his end. I say fairly because she's cutting him off a bunch of times and he's trying to make a point. But we see that like Kendra does that. But this wasn't the worst we've seen of Kevin matching energies with extreme disrespect at all, right? Which is what's so disheartening about this whole experience and how things have turned out. Because the question I would have to the audience, if you guys compare what she's saying here and how she sounds like now, was he right? Was he right when it comes to this particular situation? You can argue about delivery and all these other things. It doesn't matter at the end of the day. You realize what? Even when Kendra went out and she thought she was going to do things the right way, she is now ending up using the same exact talking points that he used, right?
I understand, but can I speak now? Because I'm being respectful. This is your platform, so I definitely want to honor your rules. I just got out of a relationship in January, and I could be married right now if that was my goal.
Oh man. So we've seen her go through 2 relationships so far. That's crazy, man. That's insane. Whoa.
Oh, this coffee is criminal.
This coffee is criminal.
But I would rather be happy than just married to say I have a husband. And I don't think that should be looked down upon. I don't think that's my honest truth. You could, feel away, but that's an honest truth. I was in a relationship that he wanted.
How long were you in it?
We were together since last year, 8 months.
Okay.
And he was ready to be married very soon, very early on. And I don't want to be
Coulda, shoulda, woulda. Coulda, shoulda, woulda. He was going to
married just to be married. I'm not going to live with fear and say, oh, okay.
So do you want to be married?
Huh?
You want to be married?
Excuse me?
Do you want to be married?
I want to be happily married. If I get married, it's going to be because...
Do you want to be married?
Oh, did he want to be married? Yes.
Do you want to be married?
I would be married to if it makes sense.
So that's it. But a part of me wants to listen to the rest of that. Why couldn't I find the whole thing? Just because the whole dynamic there is very interesting. I'm going to go look it up here. So interesting to see this obvious about face in the way that she's looking at things now compared to back then, right? I want to see if I can find the original video, which wasn't showing up fully when I searched it. Yeah, I was enjoying that. Did you guys? I hope you guys are enjoying that too. All right, guys. I think I found another channel here that actually has a full thing. I don't see it on the channel. Let's check it out.
And I don't want to be married just to
We won't check out the full thing. I'll just kind of watch into it. I'm tired of it.
be married. I'm not going to live with fear and say, oh, okay.
So do you want to be married?
Huh?
You want to go back to what you want. You control access to your body, and for a time frame, women control access to whether or not kids are born. But see, what older women, especially accomplished women, have a hard time accepting is your value has a shelf life. After 35, you're at geriatric pregnancy. If you met a man that you found that you thought was...
Is it just me, or does she even look younger here? Right? She looks a lot younger here as to compared when you compare her to now.
The bee's knees, and he wanted 3 children. You can't carry them.
Okay, but Kevin, I would say this, right? Can I just say that?
Is that true?
I agree with you. I'm not.
So either he would have to forego having the children in his legacy, or he'd have to go find someone who could.
Or it could be a man that might already have children and doesn't want children.
Not my example. That's not my example. That's a different example.
Can I just say this? I respect your insight. I really do. That's why I came on your platform.
Okay.
But I'm not gonna allow what you think is gonna be for my life to be my life.
But then here she is, right? Here she is now.
I don't know you, lady.
Right, is that, well, my name is Kendra. You said my
I don't
name
know,
earlier.
lady, Kendra, ma'am. I don't know you.
Okay, so
and the thing is, I'm not going to allow you to start getting upset because
I'm not, Kevin, I'm not upset.
Look,
I'm not upset.
you came to my platform and asked
I
me, you asked me
did.
my opinion. Okay, so to tell me what you're not going to allow me to do, that's not necessary.
Makes sense. Gonna go on his platform, talk about I'm not gonna allow you to.
I wasn't trying to be rude. I was just ultimately
But what
saying,
would you call it? What would you call it? I'm not going to allow what you say to do what?
because, I mean, listen, I hear you, but I don't. There's plenty of women that I know that have had babies in their 40s, that have gotten married in their 40s. It can happen. So,
I'm talking black women?
yes, I'm talking black women.
1 in 4 black women were married. 1 in 4 black women were married in their lifetime. So you telling me about the aged black women who marry after 40 and have babies? I'm sorry. I'm sorry, ma'am. I'm sorry, ma'am. I'm sorry. That is, unfortunately, and here's the thing. If you're waiting till your 40s to marry and have babies, you did something wrong in your 20s and 30s.
Yeah.
I mean, well, I will say this. I focus on my career, which I know you feel could be something wrong. I have no regrets. I have no saying is, yes, you're right. Maybe the statistics aren't there, but in my reality, in my worlds, I know women that...
Anecdotal evidence doesn't change the fact.
Huh?
Anecdotal evidence doesn't change the fact. You know people like you. That does not change the reality.
Well, okay. I'm not taking away from that.
What I'm saying is, ma'am,
I'm just saying that...
listen to what we're doing in the black community. Take it away from you. Take it away from your friends. We're actually having a conversation about women having babies in their 40s. That's how warped we've become in the black community because we cannot get it together in our prime mating and marrying years. Because so many of our women value these so-called careers. Now, I don't doubt that you have a career, but I gotta let you know how many women I've talked to over the countless years who call their job a career.
That's that. You guys can go check out the rest for yourself. I just think this turnaround is insane. Moving on.
So my daughter's father tells me today that for spring break, he's taking our daughter, we have one daughter together,
right,
to Disneyland for 5 days. And I guess it was going to be a surprise, or it's going to be a surprise, or was, whatever. So I'm like, awesome, I'm going to go shopping, get her a couple outfits, I'll get her a new bathing suit, da-da-da. I'm thinking about all these things, and then I'm thinking, wait, just her?
Yeah, why not?
Because she has 5 other siblings.
Listen, I heard this story and I thought to myself, I hope this shit's so fake. Because there's no way you'd expect a man who, just because he was with you for a short period of time, is going to now take all your other 5 kids who are not his to Disneyland with him. There's no way you can be serious.
So I had to ask him, everybody else is invited too, right? And he looked at me like I was crazy and said, no, those aren't my kids. We were together for years. You were their stepfather. You're going to take your daughter to Disneyland and not take her siblings?
Yeah. What's...
Do you know how upset that would make them?
Who cares? Who cares if they're upset?
Not doing it. She's not going unless her siblings can go.
That's wild.
Period.
Wow.
This is a prime example of a mom that wants to control the dynamics of a situation that she created. Because when you have children from different men, different fathers, they don't have an obligation to the children that are not theirs. You do. And I understand the situation where some kids get to do some things that the other kids aren't going to do. Well, you're the mom, you're the link. So you could make the decision to even it out if you needed to. But honestly, I think that kids are smart and they can understand the dynamic that this one child's real father is going to go do this one thing with them. But that's something that the mom has to work through with her kids and with the actual father of those kids. And do you know how expensive Disney World is? I cannot imagine paying for 5 kids. It is not appropriate to demand this, and definitely not appropriate to say that your daughter can't go with her father to Disney World just because your other kids can't go. That is not fair, and that is not your call to make.
Do you guys remember the viral baby mama story with the dude he was bringing McDonald's a while back. It was really big a few years back, and the mom sent him away because he didn't bring McDonald's for the other kids. You know, these stories, I can only imagine. You know, they say truth is stranger than fiction, right? The amount of men who've probably dealt with similar situations just like this, where the mom is jealous because, oh, you keep on buying your child things and my other kids are jealous. Who cares? Who cares? I know it happens. It has to happen because for the amount of baby daddies a lot of these chicks have today, that isn't very far-fetched. You know, this is another reason why a lot of men are afraid to play that step-dad role, and they should be. I don't think any man should seek that out, but they do find that. Why? Because a very small percentage of them understand that I can't be delusional, I have to drink some coffee, so on and so forth, and that works out good. Great for both of them, right? But the majority of these women out here do not appreciate the men that they're with. She said, oh, but you're with this for so long. That's probably why. That's probably why he doesn't want to help you out, deal with you in particular, is because he experienced not even a second-class citizen, but like a fourth, fifth-class citizen where his opinion barely mattered. He knew that everybody else came first before him. And so he just thinks to himself, man, my poor child is still stuck with this woman who I was lucky enough to get away from. Comment down below what you guys think of all this. Have you been through a similar situation just like this? Let's read a few of these comments. This commenter says, you take them to Disneyland. Somebody else who says, guaranteed he was told hundreds of times that they weren't his kids. Oh yeah, that's another thing, right? Discipline measures, you try to check those kids, you try to discipline them, and you're told, oh, these aren't your kids. Somebody else here added, not his children, not his responsibility. Another person who says, then get all the other baby daddies to do the same. Here's another person who says, wow, her sense of entitlement for her other children is mind-boggling. Here's another person who says she's dead wrong. Somebody else here added, why don't their fathers take them? Yeah. Very interesting family dynamics when you look at a lot of situations where single mothers are struggling. And for as much as the struggle is real, you would think at some point that you would welcome the help and the participation and assistance in helping, even if it's just for one kid. Gentlemen, my encouragement to you is if you are in this situation, to not feel guilty. To not feel guilty. You know, if you can't afford, because now he's sitting there thinking to himself, okay, I can do one of two things. I can raise up more money so I can afford to take all these kids out, or I can afford to buy all of them clothes, and I can afford to do that for all of them, or I can shorten the trip. If you can't afford it and it's too hard on you, I don't think there's anything wrong whatsoever with just providing for your child. For your child. Now, if you feel a need, because this isn't wrong either, right, to be Santa Claus and go the extra step, and you have the means, I'm sure there's plenty of men, I'm sure, that do that. But I'm talking about the men who are made to feel guilty for doing what they can for their child. It's wrong. Moving on. No trans women allowed. This is what this soon-to-be female gym owner, she's going to open an all-women's gym, said, and it's triggered so many people online, all types of people, particularly the LGBT community, even in the US, right? Let's check it out.
In 2021, 4 years ago, I made a tweet, and the tweet referenced my women's only gym, the Girls Spot, and being trans inclusive. Now, when I made that tweet in 2021, I had just announced my plans to open a women's only gym. I hadn't thought out the vision or the mission or what it would entail, but all I knew is that I wanted to open a gym. We are now 4 years later, and I have had a great deal of time to figure that out. The Girls Spot Gym exists as a safe space for women because women are facing gym harassment, violence inside of gyms. And I know that because I'm a victim of it. So the meaning of the Girl Spot gym is now entirely different. And I say this to say that whilst we are a gym, inside we are focusing on self-defense classes, Muay Thai, boxing classes, as well as workshops and activations around PCOS and training on your menstrual cycle, all of which occur to biological women. Majority of the women who are seeking my women's only gym, the Girl Spot, are coming here because they have faced some level of gym intimidation or violence and that has been perpetrated by men. As the owner of the gym, it is very important to make it clear how my women's only gym will be operating, and it will be operating as a single-sex space for biological women. Now, we do believe that everybody deserves a safe space, and there are many gyms that are starting to have mixed cubicles and changing rooms so that individuals can feel safer and more included in these environments. But the Girl Spot gym as a standalone is a female-only gym because it is imperative that I stick to the vision and the mission and ensure that these women feel safe.
Okay, so there you go. So here's what people are really upset about. In the beginning, apparently, she wasn't very clear about the no trans women allowed policy. But once people found out that only biological women would be allowed to attend, then everybody started losing their shit. Right off the bat, of course, I'm curious to know your immediate thoughts about this specific topic. Let's check out some responses from other people.
If your gym is trans-exclusionary, it is not a safer space. If your gym is trans-exclusionary, it is not a safer space. So if you're not familiar with what I'm talking about, there's a black femme that opened a female-only gym in the UK because they were in an all-gender gym, I'm assuming by a cis man, and they opened this female-only gym.
Straight dudes have been catching strays all throughout this video. We're just like chilling. Hey, cis men, straight men, F them, whatever.
To be a safer space for folks, and they excluded trans women, and they allegedly spoke to lawyers, other trans people, and they still came to the conclusion that they should exclude trans women. I just want folks to understand that excluding trans women by saying you want a space to only be for cis women means that you are asserting that a woman looks a particular way.
Yes.
And a woman behaves in a particular way.
Also, yes. I mean, this is why, listen, I don't follow politics closely, but that only two genders policy in the US, I applauded. Like, these are the crazy statements that made the average person who's not like online chronically hear women say things like this. So you're trying to say men and women are different. Yes. What the F is wrong with you? Yes, they're different. How is what you're saying right now some type of insight or any type of bar, right? Let me know what you guys think. Comment down below. This is insane.
You're assuming people's behavior based on their identity rather than creating rules, guidelines on how to be in your space. Even if it is a women's only space, you still need to create guidelines that create it to make sure that it's safer, because any gender can people.
Now it's any gender can SA people, right?
Any gender can assault people. But also what concerns me, if you're asserting that trans people should be excluded, trans women should be excluded, then you're asserting that trans women look a particular way. Because how are you going to confirm someone is trans or not? In what ways are you going to do that? Right? So it makes the space unsafe because now you are asserting that womanhood looks a particular way. So even if someone is cis and they present masculine, they wear baggy workout clothes, I don't know, maybe they have really, really short hair, are they going to be able to are they going to be admitted to your gym? Or are you going to say they look like a man?
they look like a man. There's going to have to be a femininity test. Listen, I'm going to say something that I think particularly a lot of black women don't think about. There is a silent, very silent, strong group of black women, because I want it to be first highlighted, because I don't care about, like, go create a female only gym. I don't think men care overall. They don't. But I don't think a lot of, especially the really liberal black chicks, understand that there's a silent, very strong group, minority of black women who are down for this, and they're not going to post about it. They're not even going to argue with you about it. They're in your group chats, right? These are your married women who, when you ask them for advice on how to get a man, they act like they don't know any tips. Really, they don't want to argue with you, but they pretend like they're oblivious. They uphold certain values that are counter to what most really radical liberal black women value, but they keep quiet. They'll quietly register for this gym ownership too. They'll quietly attend and work out. Be like, oh shit, I'm here. This is cool, right? And I think they're in for a huge shock and surprise. They don't want to go back and forth. They don't want to get beat up, because then you guys jump to, oh, let's jump her. Oh, you know, I think this right here would very much be successful in the UK. Here, not so much. I don't understand why so many Americans are chiming in. I think because they've already decided that, like, oh shit, it's over here for now. But I can see this being very popular, and those women will show up to support.
It's very important to make it clear how my women's only gym will be operating, and it'll be operating as a single-sex space for biological women. Now, we
know the queer community already has a lot on its plate, and I hate to be the bearer of yet another demand, but I'm going to need...
This is the woman upset about the gym memberships. They're right here.
Trans man to step up to the front of the stage.
She even had the audacity to back up so we can get a good look. I just, you can't get online and not expect us to keep it real with exactly what we're thinking in our heads, man.
Because there is a trick here that should be missed. I need every beefy man with a punani in the United Kingdom to be posted up at this gym on opening day. Yes, I do.
We all heard that. That's her man. Let's keep listening. Oh,
and I wanted to...
He's like, come here, baby. Get off the camera.
To look scary. A little bit intimidating. That's what I want. Anyways.
Yo.
She's not going to lose out on any money. Like, she can rest assured knowing that, like, a big part of her consumer base are not going to turn away from her because of this. Like, she's very much able to rely on the fact that, like, transphobia does run so rampant within the black community. I think one of my biggest wishes for, like, the black female community would be that we'd become more secure in our womanhood, to where we wouldn't have to subjugate the population of women that experiences the most harassment and, like, the most sexual violence, etc. Like, at the moment, like, I'm sure Natalie B. Fitness doesn't have an issue turning back on the things she said in 2021, because 2021 was very much a, like, political correctness was at the forefront of everybody's minds, and it wouldn't really serve her well to promote her brand in this, like, exclusive mindset. Like, now with this rise of conservatism, there aren't really any pitfalls to her exhibiting transphobic rhetoric.
So she's talking about a rise in conservatism in the UK, and one of the things that people are arguing against her actually doing this is that when she first announced the women's gym, she wasn't really particular, and people donated, right, about the guidelines. People donated, and they're like, oh, you probably took donations from trans women. I don't know, maybe. Especially
within the black community, where so many people's perception on gender is informed by, like, religion, or even, like, the values that we've come to adopt, even if they're not inherently cultural values, like the values we've come to kind of, like, adopt. So, like, even if she does come out and apologize, which I really, really doubt, but even in the instance where that did happen, she's not going to change her business plan, because a big part of her consumer base, which is going to be women of color, specifically black women, like, they're not gonna ride behind trans people on this issue. Like they're definitely not. People barely care about gay rights. They're not gonna care when it comes to this kind of issue, which is,
I mean, it's like 1% of the population. I think people are tired of that being something that they ride for when they have their own problems in their own lives.
like really, really unfortunate. But I feel like that's why she knows. She knows that like, regardless of the controversy online, her pockets are still going to be lined, because unfortunately a lot of people like don't care about issues that don't affect them. Because if there's an opportunity to stand above someone in the social hierarchy, like people are going to take it. Time and time again, the Black community has shown that like if there's an opportunity to kind of be above someone because of the way that we've been subjugated, if there's an opportunity to now you're above someone, like people are always going to take that opportunity. Like, and this is just another example of that.
Okay. Moving on here, we have our final video here. This one says Natalie B Fitness, woman's only gym. This woman's in favor of it.
To Natalie B Fitness, who had a vision of a woman's only gym, because men be doing the madness in the gym sometimes, and she is making it happen. And I used to always see her content come up. Like in uni, I used to watch her YouTube videos when she was like just starting out, and I was thought, I wonder if she'll ever like be able to build the gym. I will say though, those silly narratives of like her stealing the money, that was ridiculous. Like the truth of the matter is that you're gonna try and do something, and there will be silly hating people who can't even achieve anything as big as that. They're gonna come and they're gonna hate on you and they're gonna try and make it seem like you can't achieve it. Are you joking? Even for like Muslim women like me, a woman's only gym is such a lovely space, and the fact that she's actually like she's actually done it. Shout out to her. Like, I've always been a fan of her content. I don't know why people just give her a hard time. Like, she says it as it is. She calls out men when they do too much in the gym. And she doesn't call out men willy-nilly. She calls them out when she has seen something. I've always been a fan of Natalie. There's a big move. Like, I love to see it up and running.
All right, so obviously this is a chick who calls out men at the gym doing too much. I'm assuming the opposite of Joy Soul. I don't think men actually care that women are creating women-only gyms. There are some, because I think there's a difference, man. I think they're the more conservative women in this situation, Black women, who would appreciate that space just to have that space. And then you have the feminists. I think they care. When feminists make that decision, it's like a statement and they want men to be upset about it, right? It's centered around, we're going to show them. I actually think in a place where this hasn't swung so far to the chaotic side of everybody should fight for trans rights and all this, that this would probably work well. Check out a few of these comments. Top comment says, people in the comments on Twitter talking about how she's excluding the most vulnerable group in society. The most vulnerable group is women, who she is catering to. Somebody else here added, I'm glad she's standing on business. Here's another person who says, the end is near. No way people are mad over bio women wanting their own space. In some way, do women now finally maybe see how uplifting a lot of this confusion, right, of you don't even want to differentiate someone who dresses like a woman, acts like a woman, with real biological women, right? You don't want to differentiate that at all. You can see how you've caused this problem. Here's somebody else who says she is lush. Hate that she gets so much hate. Here's another person who says it's sad. She's created the space to now be canceled. In this generation, you can't humbly disagree with someone, with someone's lifestyle without being labeled as some form of phobic. I'll say, if I was to give anybody advice who wants to stand on business or stand for something that they truly believe, is you can't cater. You have to lean in. You have to niche down. You have to be honest with yourself, because number one, it will give you the strength to fight going forward, right? If you truly believe it, you can't be worried about who you're going to offend, who's going to be angry. Your people will always find you. Get online, be honest. Even if your position is contradictory to mine, this works in all spaces. As long as you truly believe it, as long as you truly live in it, people can tell, they can sense like, this person is serious, right? There's some genuineness in a time and place where people are so afraid to offend, where they want to hide behind all these different movements and co-opt them. You will stand out and be successful. I can almost guarantee it. Moving on.
You forged his name.
No, ma'am.
I fully believe you forged his name.
How did I do it?
In this video, this judge is tearing into this ex-wife who forged this man's signatures, all so she can sell their property right there in a divorce dispute, and she gets caught. You're not going to believe this.
Hi, pen. Hi, paper. Let's write Tim Ainley.
No.
So guys, real quick, I really want to show you exactly how it all got to this point. And so the big dispute here is the home, right? That is actually in the husband's name. This bitter ex-wife wants to sell the house, but she doesn't know what's left to pay off on the mortgage. And so she goes and tries to get that information. In order to get that information, she wants to pay off, right, information for the house. In order to get that information, she has to submit a document. It only can be authorized by him via a signature. And so what does she do? She forges the signature to get that information so that she can look into selling the house, which he does not want to sell and has been working hard to keep it out of foreclosure. Eventually, the judge takes a look at the documents and finds out that she did, in fact, forge those letters. But everything began at this moment when the husband first accused her of forging signatures to get unauthorized personal information about him. Check it out.
She said yes. So she emailed it to me, and my name has been forged on this paper. It is not my signature, and the owner is not Rachel Ainley as far as the loan goes, what's on the loan mortgage papers. So she forged my name on this paper to get the payoffs on my personal information.
Her name is Rachel Ainley. He's, of course, Mr. Ainley.
Ainley, please be quiet.
My ex-wife has signed my name multiple times when we were married. I gave her permission to do that when we were married. Nobody else knows my social security number but her. She knows it by heart. And on the November the 5th this year, she signed my name for release of my personal information on my banking information. It's I'm pretty upset about this. I mean, it's like a total breach of my confidentiality and everything else in my personal business.
Right.
The lady called me yesterday from a title company. Let me get I'm just nervous. A lady called me yesterday from a title company. She said, Mr. Ainley, we have a check for dividends for the sale of your property on North Boston Road. I said, a check for what? She said, well, we're closing on that on the 23rd. I said, absolutely not. This is in legal issues right now. I said, no. I said, I'm not getting a check. So, anyways.
So she began the process of actually even trying to sell the home.
I told her my name was forged to get the payoff and the information on this mortgage. And so she didn't say anything else. She hung up. But
next, the judge asks to see the documents.
Not one who has went to school, but I'm going to tell you just by looking at it, Miss Ainley, I'm going to tell you, you did this.
No, ma'am.
Oh, yes, ma'am.
Where would I have signed it? I haven't been anywhere to sign anything.
Your name is signed on this.
I'm not
These
Rachel
dates
Ainley.
are Stop talking over me. You did this, Miss Ainley. You signed this, Miss Ainley.
didn't.
You signed this.
Oh,
You did this.
Lying woman.
No, ma'am. I promise you I didn't.
Oh, you can promise all you want. You are not credible.
Okay.
You did this.
Okay.
These dates are the same. This 11/5/24 dates are the same.
They're not though.
They're the same.
You can call Katie. I'm not the one that signed.
I can call Katie?
Lock
Yes,
her up.
ma'am. I did not sign.
You didn't sign in front of Katie.
I didn't sign at all.
Oh, so somebody forged your name
Ma'am,
too?
I have not signed anything. I was supposed to sign with the title company on Wednesday and I didn't.
Oh, so I have two fraudulent transactions here. Somebody forged your name, your
Yes, ma'am.
social security number and yours. That's good. I need to let the district attorney know right now. We have 2 fraudulent transactions done.
Is she going to jail? It sounds like she's going to jail to me.
Not only do we have it for you, Mr. Ainley, but we have it for Mrs. Ainley too.
I mean, you could check signatures even. I don't sign like
I
that.
don't believe that at all.
Okay, that's whatever. It is whatever. Not nice say's gonna change it.
Wow.
If I wouldn't have gotten these letters from these loan companies, from my mortgage company stating that these 5 lenders requested my payoff information, I would have never known that there was any type of fraudulent activity going on at all.
It's not fraudulent.
I'm looking at 22 CV88, Rachel Ainley versus Timothy Ainley, your injunction request that you filled out. The signatures look almost identical.
Almost
identical.
They're not me, I promise. Forging signatures, risking getting felonies, no, not worth it. I'd walk away from the house before I do that.
She sounds like she's lying, bro. She obviously sounds like she's lying. Comment down below. Eventually, the judge gets tired of her and actually starts to hold her accountable. Check it out.
Where it's not fine. And quite honestly, Miss Ainley, I hear testimony and I see things that show you're not credible. I believe you're not credible. Okay. I fully believe you forged his name.
Ma'am.
I fully believe you forged his name.
Would I do it?
Hi, pen. Hi, paper. Let's write Tim Ainley.
No.
I'm not blind. I can see.
Well,
and
maybe
I've
we should have
taken
someone look at it then.
judicial notice. I've been doing this job a long time.
Right.
I look at your signature on 2 documents where you've signed.
Look at his.
I have. It's not his signature.
It's not mine.
Sounds like a
This
kid.
is your signature,
No.
Rachel Ainley.
Can you call Katie? I didn't sign.
Then you were not looking to sell this property because this is what it took to sell the
I
property.
can't sign. You told me we couldn't sign.
Sign what?
The papers yet.
You didn't sign the papers. This was to try and get a payoff, to try and get the offer.
I've made
what
no
you
attempt to
got.
get payoff. They do.
So the payoff is the document that lets you know all the figures so that you know how much profit you'll make after you've paid off the mortgage, right? The loan for the home, just to make things clear. And so she's trying to muddy the waters there and be like, I didn't sign any documents for selling a home. She's like, no. You went and got the payoff information and you signed those documents illegally. The attitude that she's right now showing in front of the court is like she knows that, hey, this is my house, right? The courts are on my side in family court. The worst they're going to do to me is maybe not give me what I want. As a man, you're in there sitting up straight. The guy, he says, I'm nervous. The husband's nervous because he knows he has to be on his best behavior. I don't think she's even afraid of going to jail over this, which is insane.
The company does. I make no attempt. I have not made any attempts.
Need payoff, please.
It's sincerely Katie, not Rachel. And Katie is wherever that is.
Miss Ainley, the more you talk, the more you're digging your hole.
Okay, well, I'm not going to say anything. I'm telling you.
I strongly encourage you not to.
A child.
Because this is all taken down.
Okay.
And this is a transcript, and the district attorney can get this transcript.
Okay, that's fine. Because I don't have anything to hide. I don't. I would have plenty of witnesses, but you didn't want kids here.
I said bring witnesses.
I wouldn't put my kids through it.
And I think that that is the best thing that you could do.
That's who I had
as a mother, because quite honestly, that was a terrible,
it was
awful thing that happened at that other
So by
hearing.
not bringing them, I have no credibility. So just order what you're gonna. Order what you're gonna.
Imagine a court. This sounds like the last court let the children come and testify. That's insane.
Just want it done. I want.
If either of you put your children in the middle, you are awful parents.
That's why they're not here. That's why I have no witnesses. Because all I had was my kids.
No, you don't, Miss Ainley.
Yes, it was. It was.
A baby.
You can stop crying because tears.
I'm not crying because of that.
Again,
You're
telephone.
not listening.
You're not listening. Stop crying. Stop that. Telephone pictures say 1,000 words. Stop it. This boo-hoo, cry means nothing.
Okay.
See? No tears. Nothing.
Oh, I got none now.
I know, because they're not real.
Oh, yeah.
I don't fall for those tears. So now, do you have any proof or any evidence? Because quite honestly, right now, there's nothing in your favor.
I guess not.
Shout out to the judge.
Because I fully believe, Mr. Ainley, I truly do believe you walked out with nothing. I believe you walked out, quite honestly, with the clothes on your back. And with what you said, you had a couple shirts, a couple pair of underwear, a couple pair of socks. You had nothing. Quite honestly, going to be blunt. You were quite not so smart. You've never been smart with this lady. You've never been smart with this lady.
I agree.
You've let her control you and take everything from you. Because when you are here and you came here with your divorce, you came with this exhibit of personal property that you wanted to retrieve, and it's bare bones. It's not really that enforceable. You should have went that day or very soon after that day to retrieve this personal property. And then when you went back with your attorney in front of commissioner to retrieve your property, and it's very clear in that hearing that commissioner said 2 dates and 2 sets of times to go retrieve your personal property, which Miss Ainley said today, I didn't know, which was a lie, because she knew, because it's very clearly there in the minutes.
Ma'am, I said it wrong. I didn't know he would show up because he was set to come before and he didn't show. He was set to come in June.
All right, so we're going to move on to the final part, which where the wife is made to pay $64,000 plus dollars to the husband as part of the court ruling. And this amount is to be paid from the proceeds of the home.
In this divorce, it's hard to find credibility. And I'm awarding $15,000 because I do believe that is a penalty. Because I do fully believe that Ms.
And if the home isn't sold, she awards ownership to the husband as of the following day.
Amy fraudulently signed his name. So there is a total of $64,368.71.
64,000 what?
$64,368.71. That is to be paid to Mr. Ainley from the proceeds of the sale of the home. If the home is not to be sold, if it's not sold tomorrow as expected, then the court is going to order that the home is going to be remitted over to Mr. Ainley for ownership instead of Miss Ainley.
Your Honor, the latest to close was December 30th.
Thought it was going to close tomorrow.
We were supposed to, but he refused.
Well, then it can close.
If they're willing now.
If not, then I'm ordering that if it doesn't close, then ownership of the home turns over to Mr.
How do I
Ainley.
how is that fair to me and kids?
How is it fair? Because I fully believe you signed his name.
I did not.
What
do I have to do to prove it?
Ms. Ainley, I fully believe that you have destroyed his property,
I
that
did
you
not.
have burned his property, that you have sold his property, that you have thrown away his property, that you have done everything to keep him from having his property, that I believe that you have done everything.
Well, if somebody goes to the house, you'll see it's not
And you
true.
have been totally vengeful.
The judge wants to curse this woman out, but I think she knows Jesus. I can tell. You know, she's tapping in, Lord help me, please.
Now,
So you think? Yep.
he can go and retrieve his property. And if all, Mr. Ainley, you have the ability to go to the property. You're still at the property, Miss Ainley?
I won't be.
When? You're out of the property? You moved out of the property?
I will be tomorrow.
You've moved out of the property
I
tomorrow?
won't stay there.
So are you moving out of the
Yes,
property?
I am.
And you're living somewhere else?
I'm going to, yes.
Okay.
I don't have a choice.
All right. So you can go to the property tomorrow and retrieve all of your property.
Time.
You can look all day. She's not going to be there anymore.
What
And
if it's
apparently
locked?
the house is going to be sold.
What if it's locked up?
Well, you would have the ability to, you would have the ability to have a locksmith come and go into the property.
Your Honor, what if he takes more than what's his?
He is ordered to only take his property, and that would be anything that is on the list that you have. He is not to remove anything else but anything on that list.
I will make sure I have a witness with me and take pictures, man.
All right, so you can go tomorrow and you have all day if you want.
That's that. Of course, I'm curious to know, what do you guys think? Leave your comments down below. Listen, if you are a man today and you see all this stuff happening, you know, a lot of people wonder, Trisha, how can you as a young man still value marriage? Still want to do your best to provide a two-parent household for your family? Now, I don't get upset over what other people do with their lives, right? And I don't think, I mean, you could do what you want, but to the men who value marriage, to the men who still look around and you think to yourself, okay, this is something I want to take a risk on with everything I see around me. What I have taken the initiative to do is do my best to help out in one way, and that is fathershaverights.com. If you head over to fathershaverights.com and use the offer code REVIEW, you get access to the #1 guide to drafting a solid and legally binding prenuptial agreement. I believe you need a prenup, especially today. A lot of these issues can be discussed outside of, child support, can be discussed and agreed upon via a solid and legally binding prenuptial agreement. And I have 2 expert attorneys in there guiding you on where to start and how to accomplish that. And that's for my men out here who plan to get married very soon or currently engaged. There are steps you can take to limit your losses. Loss is loss, and it's going to happen in life regardless, even in a marriage in case of it not working out. But you want to take measures to limit your losses, right? Of course, guys, appreciate you. Till next time, I'm out. Peace.